these are great characters. The script was great. It was inspired by a really excellent play that turned into a movie in France. And I just thought every character is already really well written and fleshed out. But if we brought brilliant improvisers like Steve Carell and Paul Rudd, but also Zach Galifianakis and Jermaine Clement and half a dozen other people, those characters will just start to pop in other ways too. And I mostly, the secret to casting for me is, what's your favorite TV show? Who's your favorite character in that show? What's the funniest movie you've saw in the past couple of years? How do we get a hold of those people? And we started at the top, and we got really lucky. We got all of our first choices. I wish I knew how to script what would be funny from the get-go and just say, hey, you guys just memorize this and that'll be hilarious. Once in a while it works that way. Steve's speech in the Tower of Dreamers scene and the big dinner, he gives a big rousing speech, was completely scripted. He just found little cool things to add to it that made it better. Some things are completely scripted and are unscripted and are so much funnier than what we could have ever come up with. And it's by, like in the scene when Zach Galifianakis and Steve Carell are doing their shootout, almost everything they're doing, they're making up on the fly and trying new things every take after take. So I want that to happen. I want that kind of chaos, even though it's time-consuming because you just have to shoot so much film. But it's worth it. It doesn't feel like it's some kind of contrived thing that is happening only because it said so on the page. It feels like people having a blast trying to make each other laugh. I like my favorite thing about this movie is that you think Steve Carell is so weird and so off-center at the beginning when you meet him scraping up a dead mouse off the road, that he will one day turn into a character in The Last Supper by putting tiny clothes on him. And you think you know everything you need to know about where it's going to go. Oh, it's going to be a silly comedy about this goofy guy messing up Paul Rudd's life. And partway through, you realize that Steve Carell has so much else going on, including he has a big broken heart that he kind of, I don't know, just pretends doesn't exist through his optimistic approach to life. And you feel for him. You're moved by his approach to life, and through Paul Rudd's point of view, you sort of, I don't know, again, feel a little bit better about the human condition. I wish I could relax more and enjoy it, but I usually wake up nauseous every morning because there's so much talent involved in a movie like this. Incredible script, unbelievable actors, and we were surrounded by great producers. Even the studio was really fantastic for us. I don't want to be the guy who doesn't have it going on that day, and so I over-prepare and I overthink it. And then you just get there and you have these great actors doing these hilarious things, and you go, oh, this is going to work. And that's what it's like, is waking up terrified and going home going, oh, okay, I got through that, and it's going to be funny. I just like the relationship that the movie seemed to promise. You have a guy who's so full of himself and thinks he's so, superior and such a winner that he's entitled to invite a guy who he thinks of as a loser to a dinner and be part of this culture where you can make fun of people without them realizing it. And then that very choice is what turns his life upside down, causes him to lose his girlfriend, causes him to lose his job. And much like in a movie like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or something, it's hilarious watching him suffer because he's being so mean to Steve. And it's also hilarious watching Steve annoy Paul. That kind of conflict, to me, is comedy. I like comedy that comes out of conflict and suspense, so that's where it's at.